Tottenham Hotspur are one of the biggest clubs in England, but they haven't won a trophy since 2008. And with them currently sitting 14th in the Premier League table, I think it's safe to say they are in dire need of a rebuild. Hey, how's it going, and welcome to the Tottenham rebuild. Up in today's video, I aim to rebuild Tottenham back to being a top 4 club and hopefully winning at least one trophy along the way as well. In real life, Tottenham have been absolutely terrible this season, currently sitting 14th in the Premier League table, closer to the relegation zone than they are to finishing in the top 7 this season. So I think it's safe to say that they need a rebuild, that is for sure. They do have a lot of problems in real life, which is mainly injuries, which of course are taking effect on the team. But for the style of play they play in real life, very high intensity, they should take into account that these injuries will occur more than often in their club. So the club is to blame for it, the manager and also the people who do the signings behind the scenes, because they haven't got enough squad depth to deal with the injuries they've got. That is why we're seeing Tottenham in 14th place. So hopefully in this video here today, I can rebuild Tottenham back to being a top 4 Premier League club, but also hopefully win a Premier League or two and maybe even another competition as well. So first of all, as you see here, the club vision and expectations meeting here. Well, the board culture is to sign players under the age of 23 for the future, develop players using the youth system, and do not sign players over the age of 30. That seems pretty doable, to be honest. That is something I like to do anyway. I don't really want to sign any players over the age of 30. I like to look more towards the young wonder kid style players. In terms of the end of this current season, well, reached the latter stages of the Europa League, which probably will happen in real life, but also I'm expecting to reach the latter stages as a minimum for the Europa League. To be honest, with the other teams in the Europa League, hopefully we might be able to go all the way and even win the competition. Also, we've got to qualify for the Europa League in the Premier League this season, so we've got to record a top 6 finish, a top 7 finish even as well. So yeah, seems fairly doable, to be honest. Hopefully we're pushing Champions League places, and in the Cup we've got to reach the latter stage of the FA Cup and be competitive in the Carabao Cup. And by the end of 2028 season, so 5 seasons in the future, it's become self-sustainable and also continue qualifying for the Champions League. So it's not like the expectations here from Daniel Levy, the Tottenham chairman, is completely out of the question, to be honest. Hopefully we'll be doing a little bit better than continue qualifying for the Champions League in 5 years' time. So for this actual rebuild here today, I won't actually be managing the team on a day-to-day basis. That will be going to the assistant manager. I will be merely playing a background role here in the club. I'll be a director of football style coach here, and I'll also be selecting the tactics. I'll also be obviously signing all the players, dealing with all contracts, all that side of the game. But in terms of managing the team from the game-to-game basis, that will go to the assistant manager. I'll go on holiday for the season, and I'll select use current match tactics. I'll lead the team selection up to the assistant manager, because obviously if I was doing this rebuild, playing every single game, it is going to take weeks to complete, and that would be too long, of course. So first of all, let's actually look at the goalkeepers for Tottenham here. Also, this database here is actually the FN25 database. So of course we've got the players in here that's been signed in January of this season just gone in real life, such as Anthony and Kinski in here as well. So it's completely up to date with the teams as well, such as Ipswich, Leicester and Southampton featuring in the Premier League. So we actually look at the goalkeepers here. I actually think we're quite alright for goalkeepers at the start of the rebuild here. Vicario is of course the number 1, 3.5 star player. And we've got Fraser Forster as the number 2, 36 years old with 2.5 stars there. But we've also got Anthony and Kinski here. Not the biggest potential in the world, only potentially 3-star player, but could be good enough to battle out Fraser Forster for the number 2 position. And obviously we've got Brandon Austin and Alfie Whiteman here as a 3rd choice or 4th choice keepers. So Vicario as number 1. He's not amazing, let's be honest, but he's certainly a good goalkeeper. Only 27 years of age as well, not on the old side at all. Yeah, a good level Premier League level goalkeeper. Obviously would like to sign a better one than Vicario in the future, but for now he will definitely do as our number 1. Well, looking at the centre-back department here, this is when it starts to become very, very sticky with the club. Obviously in real life they're playing Archie Gray and Ben Davies as a centre-back partnership, which proves how bad the centre-back position is at the club. On paper though, these two, Romero and Van der Ven, as a partnership, one of the best in the league, especially on FootballManager here. That's a really good partnership. The problem is the backup for these two players. Dragusin, as a 4th choice centre back, I'll be comfortable with him there. 2.5 stars, only 22, potentially 4 stars. But Ben Davies, Clearly not a centre-back. He's not good enough to be a left-back, Premier League level left-back in real life, to be honest, in my opinion, but let alone as a centre-back. So 31 years of age. He's a wanted man as well, wanted by West Ham. I'm looking to sell Ben Davies, to be honest. So we're left with 3 centre-backs at the club, Romero, Van der Ven and Dragusin. I definitely need to go out and sign a centre-back. But as I said, these two, Romero and Van der Ven, Romero, well, he's one of the best mentally centre-backs on the game, to be honest. He's also one of the best defensive centre-backs on the game as well. Great positioning, 18 tackling as well, 20 aggression is very nice. Physically, he's not the best, but as you can see there, every physical attribute has either 14 or 15, so he's definitely not lacking in the physical department, that is for sure, but not as good as some other players like Van der Ven, for example, but defensively, he's absolutely outstanding. And talking of Van der Ven, what Romero lacks in his physical attributes there, Van der Ven makes it up. 19 pace is ridiculous. He's also got 16 acceleration as well. He's got good strength as well. In the other aspects of his game, not quite as good as Romero, it has to be said, but as an overall centre-back in this game, Van der Ven is class, and he can also play left back as well, and hopefully he can still improve. So those two as a partnership, very happy with that, but we need a centre-back to replace Ben Davies to make it into a nice good 4 centre-backs at the club to help with cover for injuries and other rotation system as well. Well, in terms of right-backs, I'm actually, I'm very happy with the right-back situation, to be honest. We've got Pedro Porro here at the club, 3.5-star player, 24 years of age, so he still could get even better and got a lot of years ahead of him as well. Jed Spence as the backup, though, he's clearly nowhere near good enough. He's saying his best position is a right winger. As you can see here, his attributes nowhere near good enough. The potential isn't high either. So the backup for Porro isn't too good. Porro is a very good player himself, though. But saying that, Archie Gray, he's in the first team at the moment, only 18 years of age, but he can also play right back along with centre midfield. So in terms of the right back, I'm fairly happy with that at the start of the rebuild here. And also the left back situation as well, I'm fairly happy with that. Destiny Udogie has potential to be one of the best left backs on the game. He's a very, very good player, especially physically. Only 21 years of age, so I'll be looking to make him our starting left back and give him as many minutes as possible. So Reguilon as a backup. His contract does expire at the end of the season, so if he doesn't want to sign a new contract, they might have to look to sell him and sign a new backup left back. But in terms of the starting left back, Udogie, a very, very good player. Also, Van der Ven can play there as well. Also in the midfield is pretty good as well, to be honest. We've got James Maddison at the club, 3.5-star player. Obviously, he's a good player. We've also got Bentancur, Bissouma and Papimata Sarr as well. I know Sarr has got a very high ceiling in FootballManager. I know he can turn out to be a world-class midfielder, so I'm looking to keep him out of the club, that's for sure. Bissouma and Bentancur as well, both wanted players, but they're both very good players in FM as well. Also got Archie Gray at the club, as I mentioned. He can play right back. He's competent there, but he can be retrained as a right back. Only 18 years of age. And also Lucas Bergvall as well. So, to be honest, ideally I'd like to loan out Bergvall. He's listed for loan already, only a 2-star player, but still got a high ceiling. And we're left short in one midfielder there, to be honest, in the midfield, but not a priority position, I'd say. As I say, got Bentancur and Bissouma can play as DMs. Sarr can also play as a DM as well. Also got a very high ceiling. Maddison's a good player. Archie Gray's a potential player going through, as is Bergvall. So very happy with the midfield at the moment. In terms of the right wing, I'm actually fairly happy with that as well. Kulusevski is the number 1 right winger at the club. He's a very good player. 3.5-star, potentially 4-star player. Only 24 years of age, so very happy with him. We've also got Brennan Johnson at the club as his natural position. Only 23 as well. Potentially 4 stars. Wilson Odobert, only 19. He's also a favourite position as right wing as well. We've also got Richarlison, James Maddison who can play there. Also Mikey Moore, young Mikey Moore, only 16 years of age. Potentially 5 stars. He can also play there as well. So on the right wing, I think we're pretty good, to be honest. Talking of the left wing, well, Son is obviously an amazing player. 31 years of age now, Son, but he's still got 16 actual fitness. He's still got 16 acceleration, 16 pace as well. Good stamina, good work rate, 18 finishing. So, yeah, I think Son's got at least 1, maybe 2 great years left in him. So, obviously, Son is a world-class player. So, yeah, very, very happy with him on the left wing there. Timo Werner, not as great, only on loan though. We've also got Richarlison, Johnson, Maddison, Odobert, Mikey Moore, who can all play on the left wing there. In terms of the striker position though, I feel like we definitely need a new striker at the club, to be honest. Our best striker is Son, but he's also a best left winger. He can't play in 2 positions at one time. So, also Son is lacking height, and I like my strikers to have height in FootballManager, adds a little bit extra to the game. Timo Werner hasn't got height either. Dominic Solanke is a tall striker. He's no more than a decent striker, to be honest. 26 years of age. He's not going to get any better, probably. So, as a backup, he'll do for now, to be honest, Solanke. But we need a starting striker because Richarlison isn't good enough either. neither of them two players are good enough at scoring goals to be leading the line for Tottenham, in my opinion. So ideally, I could sell Richarlison. He's worth a lot of money, and I could sign a new striker to replace him, have a better striker up front, and have Solanke as the backup. So yeah, in the transfer market, the two main priorities are centre-back and also a striker, in my opinion. But if we actually look at the transfer budget here, only £5.7 million to spend and only 150k under the wage budget. So I think it's safe to say that I need to sell some players before I can buy some players. But hopefully, going into the start of the season, I can sign a striker and I can sign a centre-back as well. Well, the good news is at the start of the first season here, I've managed to bring in 4 new signings. I had to sell players, though, to bring these signings in. And the first player to actually leave us was actually Ben Davies, one of the longest serving players here at the club. He has gone to West Ham for £12.25 million, 31 years of age. He's not good enough to be a left back over a doggy. He's not good enough to start centre back either. So I felt no need for him really. He's only going to decline from this point. So I sold Ben Davies for £12.25 million. Also, Wilson Odobert has gone on loan to Sheffield United for the season. I don't really feel like he's good enough to be a regular star for us at the club here at the moment. So hopefully give him some minutes and develop him at Sheffield United. Sergio Reguilon has left the club. He's in his last year of his contract. Didn't want to sign a new one. Not without some ridiculous demands at least. He wanted to be an important player, which clearly is not going to happen over a doggy. So I chose to sell him to Brighton for £15.5 million. But to be honest, for a backup left back in his final year of his contract, £15.5 million. I feel like that's a pretty good sale, to be honest. Also, Lucas Bergvall has gone on loan to Portsmouth for the season to continue his development. He's been joined by Mason King as well at Portsmouth. And also the final big sale I made was Richarlison. He has gone to Al Nassr for £32 million. So I'm pretty happy with the players I've sold, to be honest. Richarlison's left the club. Don't think he's good enough, to be honest. Not in any position, really. Reguilon's gone to Brighton as well. Again, not really good enough. And Ben Davies is certainly not good enough. And the other players to leave us are on loan, are young players such as Bergvall and Odobert as well. So in terms of players that join us, the first one to join the club was the priority, and that was a centre-back. And a pretty easy decision, to be honest. I signed Jonathan Tah from Bayer Leverkusen for £17.25 million. The reason why I say it's an easy decision is he's in his final year of his contract at Leverkusen, and you get him very cheap for around £17 million. He is wanted by a lot of clubs though, so you have to swoop in quite quickly. But 28 years of age, of course, he's one for right now, not for the future. But for £17 million for a centre-back of his calibre, it's a great signing. He's a great ball-playing defender. He's got great strength, 18 strength, and great jumping reach as well. He's also got great pace, great composure, and great positioning. So he comes in as a third-choice centre-back, but to be honest, he will be putting pressure on Romero and Van de Ven for a starting position. So sell Ben Davies, replace him with Jonathan Tah. Suddenly the centre-back department is looking a lot better. I also managed to sign the second priority, which was a striker, and I signed Vinijr Gyökeres from Sporting Lisbon for £40 million. One of the most prolific strikers in the world in real life. So it's great to see him here for such cheap money as well, £40 million. Again though, this is one for right now, not for the future. He is 26 years of age, so in his prime. Although saying that, he has got 20 natural fitness, so he could go at the top level for another 10 seasons yet. So that's nice to see. He's not the greatest striker in FootballManager. I play with advanced forward as well. As you can see here, his best role is a pressing forward. Not as great as an advanced forward, but he is the best striker we could sign at the moment, which we could afford in this window. So 17 finishing is nice. He's also got 19 stamina, 18 strength as well. He's also 6'2", so he's decent in the air. Not great in the air, but he's decent in the air. So yeah, not quite the full package Gyökeres in his FootballManager, I'd say, but at the start, as a starting striker for a couple of seasons, a very good player, especially for £40 million. The next two signings I made are actually two squad players to make up the numbers a little bit. I needed to sign a new left back to replace Reguilon, and of course, as you saw, I didn't have much money to spend at the start, and only 2 players left us for a decent amount of money, so didn't have much money left to spend. I signed Biraghi though from Fiorentina for only £2.5 million. Not going to blow your mind. Only 31 years of age. Only comes in as a backup left back for a doggy for preferably only 1 season, maybe 2. We shall see. But of course, I'd like to sign a better left back in the future to battle out a doggy. But for 1 season, hopefully, he can do a job for us as a backup left back. And the last player I signed is actually Angel Correa from Atletico Madrid for just £6.5 million. I felt like I was a little bit light in the midfield department after Odobert leaving on loan, and also Richarlison leaving for permanent sale as well. So I signed Angel Correa. Not a great player, 29 years of age as well. But the good news is he can play on the right, he can play on the left. and he can also play up front. So, as I said, for this rebuild, I'm effectively being the director of football, although I do select the tactics for the club as well. And I'm sticking to the Ange and Postecoglou theme a little bit, but I'm not going with primarily his tactic, but I am going with attacking style of play for Tottenham here. As you can see, this is the actual the formation, going with a 4-3-3 formation. 2 ball-playing defenders. We've got an inverted wing-back on attack at right back, and a wing-back on support left back there. We've also got a box-to-box midfielder and a Mazzala on attack. We've got an inside forward on attack on the left in Son, a winger on support on the right, and an advanced forward up front as well. So going with an attacking formation, 4-3-3. Got a DM sitting in there though, an inverted wing-back on attack to go in there, and Mazzala on attack as well. And in terms of the mentality, got a positive mentality of course. Got playing short passing, higher tempo, play out of the defence, run out defence, and in transition is roll it out, distribute the ball quickly, counter and counter press, and out of possession we've got a high defensive line, high press, trigger press much more often, and step up more. So we're going with an attacking style of play. As I said, not going primarily as an Ange tactic, but taking some aspects of his tactic, but going basically create myself. So hopefully it works out, fingers crossed. This is also the assistant's opinion of the best 11 at the club at the moment. You've got Vicario in goal, Porro right back, a Doggy left back, Van der Ven and Romero. So in terms of the defence, very happy with that at the moment for the first season, to be honest. The Doggy's got high potential, Van der Ven's very good, Romero and they're all very good, to be honest. We've also got Tar on the bench now as a backup centre-back, which is nice. In midfield, we've got Basuma, Bentancur and Maddison. We've got Kulusevski, Son and Gyökeres in the forward line. So to be honest, this team should be good enough to challenge for a top 4 finish this season. As I said, I will go on holiday for the seasons. The assistant will be in charge of picking a team on a game-to-game basis. He will, however, have to use my tactics. So without further ado, let's go forward now to the end of the first season. Can we qualify for the Champions League? Well, season 1 has been completed, and to be honest, I'm pretty happy with how it went. In terms of the new arrivals at the club, well, Jonathan Tah. Actually, no player that would join the club this season actually got above a 7 average rating, so none of the signings were spectacular, but Jonathan Tah was the best one. 49 games played in total, got 4 goals as well, and for a centre-back, her average rating of 6.92 is pretty good, so he's been a good signing. Biraghi only played 15 games, only a backup left-back. Archie Gray, of course, wasn't one of my signings, but he was technically signed by the club this season. He played in 46 games in total, only started 15 games, but he got 6 goals and 6 assists, so definitely one for the future, Archie Gray, young wonder kid there. Gyökeres actually won signing of the season, but he only got 16 goals in 36 games with 3 assists. So not the greatest return for Gyökeres, but almost 1 in 2. Nowhere near close to his Sporting Lisbon record, but of course he's playing in the Premier League now, not the Portuguese league, so he's not going to get as much goals as he does there. In terms of the actual league this season, the Premier League, we actually finished 4th in the league this season, qualifying for Champions League for next season. 6 points clear of Aston Villa in 5th place there, but also 10 points behind Arsenal in 3rd place and 18 points behind Man City, who finished top of the league. So not really in a title race, has to be said. 18 points off the leaders, but safely in the top 4, I'd say. Looking like a pretty solid first season, has to be said. A lot better than what they're doing in real life. That was what I was aiming for, top 4 finish. I think a top 7 finish would be... I'll be satisfied, but not really impressed. But a top 4 finish, fairly impressed with that. Hopefully we can build on that for next season. In terms of the Europa League, though, we got all the way to the final of the Europa League, and thankfully, we also won the Europa League as well. We beat Porto in the final 3-2, which was very nice. We also beat Stuttgart in the semi-final, Man United in the quarter-final, and Barcelona in the round of 16. So it's not like we didn't beat big teams on our way to win the Europa League. We beat Barcelona, Man United, Stuttgart, and then Porto in the final. So that's pretty impressive in my opinion. Obviously, this is... although the teams are the same for the FN25 season in real life, the actual format of the Europa League and the Champions League was the old format, not this season just gone. So that is why there's only 6 group games played there. We played each team twice there. So next season will be the league phase format for the Champions League and the Europa League. But anyway, who cares? This season we won the Europa League, won our first trophy already in the first season here, and it's a big one. And although we finished in the top 4, even if we finish outside the top 4 this season, we still will qualify for Champions League football by winning the Europa League. The FA Cup, well, the less we said about that, the better. It was pretty terrible, to be honest. We got knocked down in the 3rd round by Wolves, and we actually lost that game 5-2. Also in the Carabao Cup, didn't do too well in that either. Knocked down in the 4th round by Newcastle. Beat Luton on penalties just after drawing 2-2. and then lost at home to Newcastle 2-1. But obviously a top 4 finish in the league and a Europa League win, a very, very successful first season. So we actually look at the players for this season. This is the best 11 for the season. Well, in the forward line, the only player to get a green rating was actually Son. He played in 41 games in the season, got 17 goals and 5 assists, but a pretty good return. Has to be said, nice to see him get more assists, to be honest, but 17 goals is pretty good. Gyökeres got 16 goals, so 1 less than Son. So a little bit disappointed with Gyökeres, to be honest. A poor average rating as well for a striker, to be honest. Kulusevski, not mind-blowing, but decent, 9 goals, 7 assists. In the midfield was alright, to be honest. Bissouma, as a DM, got the best average rating there. Then we've got Sarr and Maddison, who both had decent seasons. In the defence, though, the standout player of the season, the highest average rating, was actually Destiny Udogie. Played in 44 games in total, got 9 assists and 2 goals with a 7.17. But also Van der Ven had a good season as well with a 7.12 average rating. So, to be honest, looking at the team going into next season, I feel like we could do with a midfielder, to be honest. Maybe another forward player as well, to be honest. Another striker. Gyökeres didn't really cut it completely this season, but we shall see what I'll do going forward. In terms of the player of the season, that actually went to Bissouma with an average rating of 7.1. Young player of the season went to Mickey van der Ven. Top goal scorer was Son with 17 goals, and most assists was Maddison with 9 assists as well. Talking of Destiny Udogie, he actually won the Europa League Player of the Season and the Europa League Young Player of the Season this season as well. So it shows that we've got a great left back on our hands there, one for the future and for right now as well. As I said, going into next season, I think the defence is looking pretty good at the moment. Could do with some more cover. But in the midfield and the attacking options, I'd like to strengthen. Can I do that before the start of Season 2? Well, at the start of Season 2 here, I think it's safe to say that I've had a massive squad overhaul. Sold and signed more players than I was expecting, to be honest, but I'm very happy with the business I have done. Talking of the players to leave us, first of all, the first player to leave us was actually Jed Spence. He went to Nottingham Forest for £4.5 million. Clearly nowhere near good enough to play for the club, so an easy sale there. The next player I sold was actually Vicario, our number 1 goalkeeper, to Man United for £54 million. Doesn't seem the wisest decision, but when you see the goalkeeper I replaced Vicario with, you can see how this sale makes complete sense. Also, another one that was a little bit bizarre was Son joining Liverpool for £50 million. Wasn't actually planning for this, but Son was in his final year of his contract. He did not want to sign a new contract because he had interest from the Saudi clubs in him, and I had one decision to make. I had to sell Son. I didn't want to, but I had to. I offered him out, I asked agent about market interest, and Liverpool made a bid, and he chose to join Liverpool. So, yeah, not an ideal situation, but he was 32 years of age, in his final year of his contract, and not interested in renewing. Also, though, Brennan Johnson has gone to Newcastle with £55 million. Not really good enough, to be honest, in this Football Manager. Not great at all. So, again, another easy sell to make there. Also, young Mikey Moore has gone loan to Charlton for the season, so hopefully he gets a lot of minutes there. Also, Højbjerg has joined Marseille for £17 million, already out on loan, and this was already signed at the start of the save here, so he has gone to Marseille. Fraser Forster has joined Al Tawun on a free transfer. James Maddison has gone to Al Hilal for £57 million. And Jonathan Tah, only 1 year after signing, has gone to Real Madrid for £40.5 million. But already, only after 1 season, we made £23 million profit on Jonathan Tah, which is nice. Also, Brian Hill has joined Bayer Leverkusen for £7.25 million. We sold a couple of youngsters as well, Alfie Devine and George Abbott, for a combined total of £7.3 million. So a lot of player sales to talk of, £137 million there. In total, we actually raised about £300 million from player sales this season. So yeah, a massive squad overhaul, £300 million in worth of player sales. That means a lot of players have joined us. And the first player to join us was actually William Pacho from PSG for £21 million. Very, very easy signing to make this one. I wanted a new left-sided centre-back to be as a backup to Mickey van der Ven and potentially pushing him for that starting spot as well. Pacho at PSG, he was available for very, very little money, £21 million. He's a very good centre-back, it has to be said, and for such cheap money, ecstatic with this signing. Only 23 years of age as well, so hopefully he might get even better past this point. The next signing I made, though, was an absolute statement signing, an absolute no-brainer. If this player comes available in real life at Tottenham, I highly doubt it after the season they've had currently this season, but Florian Wirtz, he's been signed for £89 million. Yeah, ecstatic with the signing of Florian Wirtz. He's effectively replaced James Maddison
in the midfield, and let's be honest, it's not really a competition, not in FootballManager anyway. Florian Wirtz is arguably, well, in my opinion, he's the best midfielder you can actually sign on the game. He's just ridiculous. 19 technique, 18 passing, 18 first touch, 18 dribbling, 18 flair as well, and 19 vision, of course. And also, I should point out that he can get slightly better from this point onwards. So yeah, he's an absolutely ridiculous player to sign. He could be the player that leads us to a Premier League title. So very happy to get him in. As I said, no brainer to sign him. Yes, expensive, but in the realms of possibility with a club like Tottenham in this FootballManager. So I've signed Florian Wirtz for £89 million. I actually spent more on another player though. £1 million more on João Pedro from Brighton for £90 million. Well, Pedro, is he as good as Son? Don't know. But he's also 9 years younger than Son. It's a tight one between the two, to be honest. I think Son's a better finisher, but overall, Pedro might be a better player in this FootballManager. And also, one of the main reasons why I signed Pedro, he's actually homegrown in England, since he played for Watford and Brighton. So, signed João Pedro for £90 million. Very expensive. Is he worth £90 million? Yet to be seen, but I also don't think he's worth much less than that, to be honest. He's been signed as the number one left winger at the club to replace Son, but he can also play up front. He can also play on the right wing as well, and through the middle if needed. So, very versatile player, £90 million. May have overspent a little bit, but hopefully he repays that money for us. I've also signed Jack Grealish from Man City for £27 million. He was transfer listed by Man City, and I needed more homegrown players at the club to come in to meet the requirements. And Grealish, fairly cheap, not amazing, but as a squad player, very happy with that. He can play on the left, play on the right. He can play midfield if needed. He can also play up front if needed as well. So a very versatile player. Almost about to turn 30 years of age, but for 1 or 2 seasons as a backup player, hopefully he'll do a job for us, Grealish. Another very exciting player I've signed though, and that is Giorgio Scalvini from Atlanta for £67 million. Well, naturally he's a centre-back, but for those of you who play FM a lot, you'll know that his best position, arguably, is actually DM. Not a natural in that position, only competent, but as a defensive midfielder on support, he's brilliant. As you can see there, great anticipation, great mentally overall, to be honest there. Great tackling as well, and great stamina. He's also a great centre-back, let's be honest. But I feel like he's not quite as good as Romero at the moment. Only 21 years of age, mind. And also we've got Van de Ven there. We've also got Pacho there as well. So, Scalvini's been signed, although he's a centre-back, mainly as one of my new DMs. But ultimately, the assistant will pick the team, so he will choose where to play him. No matter what, though, he's a great player to have at the club. Only 21 years of age, and a great potential as well. So, Pacho, Wirtz, Pedro, Grealish, and Scalvini. Amazing signings, in my opinion. The next 3 signings, though, got signed Vuskovic. Well, I didn't sign him. He's actually a future transfer at the start of the game here in real life from Hajduk in Croatia. He's a new centre-back, £13.75 million. He's gone on loan to Sheffield United for the season to get him some game time, potentially 5 stars, so high potential here. Nice, like to see that. Already got his first cap for Croatia as well, so he's a pretty complete centre-back, to be honest. He's very, very good. One place he's lacking, though, is his pace at the moment, but hopefully, with the right time, right development, he might be a very good centre-back for us in the future. So, Vuskovic is here at the club, although not really a signing by me. The next signing, though, is our new goalkeeper to replace Vicario, and arguably the best goalkeeper you can sign on the game, and that is Diogo Costa. He has joined us from Porto for £64 million. Very, very happy with the signing of Costa. He's the Portuguese number 1. £64 million for a goalkeeper of his calibre is very, very cheap in my opinion. And also, he'll get slightly better from this point onwards. So, yeah, great signing to make. Great one-on-ones, great kicking ability as well. He's got great composure, great reflexes. But overall, he's just very, very good. Overall, he's just a very, very good player. Lots of 14s, lots of 15s as well. So, yeah, ecstatic with the signing of Costa. And I feel like we've really improved the team, bringing Costa in over Vicario. The last signing I've made is another new squad player in the forward options. Pretty good player, though. That is Alan Velasco, signing from Boca Juniors for just £13.5 million. Not a mind-blowing player, but only 22 years of age. About to turn 23, but he can play on the left, can play on the right, and he can play up front as well. And he's a good player. He's got a little bit more potential. He's got a little bit more potential about him, so we'll see what he can do in the future. But yeah, as a squad player, Velasco and Grealish, fairly happy with that, to be honest. Well, looking at a team for Season 2, and it's starting to look very exciting already. We've got Costa in goal now, of course, over Vicario, so that's definitely an upgrade. Not a massive upgrade, but definitely an upgrade. The defence, though, actually hasn't changed in terms of the starting defence. Also, I should point out, This is the assistant's opinion of the starting 11, not mine. So we've got a Doggy left back, Porro right back still, then Van de Ven and Romero as a centre back partnership there. So still looking very good, that back five. Improved it slightly though with the signing of Costa and also the signing of Pacho and Scalvini, who can also play centre back now as well, which is great. In midfield, Basuma has been touted as still our best DM at the club. I would play Scalvini there, but since Scalvini can't officially play DM yet, although he technically can, that is why the assistants picked Basuma over him. But Scalvini, over time, he should probably be our best DM to play there in front of Van der Ven and Romero. So how strong is that looking? Van der Ven, Romero, Scalvini just in front of him as well, and also the goalkeeper and the two fullbacks. In midfield though, this is where it's starting to look a little bit crazy. Pape Sarr, who is already starting to improve, very good player there as a box-to-box midfielder. And then we've got Florian Wirtz as a Mazzala on attack, which is an outstanding player there. In the forward options as well, we've got Kulusevski on the right still. We've got Pedro on the left to replace Son, and Jacqueres up front as well. But also on the bench, we've got players such as Pacho, Basuma, Bentancur, Grealish, Velasco, Dragoshin as well, Archie Gray, Lucas Bergval. I wasn't able to sign a striker this season, so I still got Solanke at the club, so I still think the striker position is a little bit weak, to be honest. But Pedro to replace Son, I'm fairly happy with that. Son needed replacing at some point anyway. Wirtz in midfield is just a ridiculous upgrade on Maddison. That is the most outstanding signing, I'd say, Florian Wirtz there. And also the goalkeeper, very important position. He's been upgraded as well. Scalvini to come into midfield as well is another great upgrade. So yeah, very optimistic about this season. Last season we finished 4th in the league. Can we go any higher this season? Can we challenge for the title? And also, can we win another trophy? Well, Season 2 was another very promising season, it has to be said. But unfortunately, we ended the season off trophyless. Unlike last season where we won the Europa League, of course. Talking of the new arrivals, there were quite a lot. And there were quite some standout names as well. The best one, in terms of average rating, was actually Florian Wirtz. No real surprise there. He played in 48 games in total, got 17 goals and 15 assists, so 32 goal involvements in his first season. Primarily playing in centre midfield is very nice. Not the highest average rating you'd see, and also not the greatest numbers Wirtz can pick up here. I've seen some absolutely ridiculous numbers of Wirtz before. When I was at Bayern Munich, I think he was getting double this goal involvement. So yeah, he can do even better, it has to be said. But as a first season, very happy with that from Florian Wirtz. Signing of the season though was actually Joao Pedro. He got 15 goals and 8 assists with 7.1 average rating. Again, not mind-blowing, but a good average rating, a good season from him. Velasco also got 8 goals and 9 assists, started 23 games. Diogo Costa, though, 55 games he started this season, and he got an average rating of 6.95. That is pretty high for a goalkeeper, so he has been very impressive this season. Pacho and Scalvini both got an average rating of 6.9. Scalvini started 32 games, Pacho started 24 games, so again, decent average ratings for defenders. And Jack Grealish featured 46 games in total, got 6 goals and 5 assists with 6.8 average rating. So Grealish was the worst signing, but he was probably the weakest signing anyway, so I can't really complain too much. He's featured in 46 games, so maybe that's an option going forward there. But Wirtz, Pedro, Costa, Scalvini, Pacho, Velasco, they all had good seasons in their first season here in Season 2, but no one really had an outstanding season. Well, I asked for better in the Premier League this season. Top 4 last season was good. Qualified for the Champions League. With the signings I made, expecting higher than 4th. We did get higher than 4th place, and we were very unfortunate to miss out on the league title. We was in a massive title race with Man United and Man City. As you can see there, only 2 points separating Man U in first and Man City in 3rd place. Also, we had a plus 56 goal difference, same as Man City. Much better than Man United's there, so yeah, just missed out on the title, which is very, very unfortunate, but at least we put up a title challenge in the second season. Well, in the Champions League, a little bit disappointing, has to be said. We got knocked out in the round of 16, but we did get knocked out by Barcelona. They got revenge on us for knocking them out of the Europa League last season, so yeah, good for them, I guess, but yeah, not a good result for us. We also lost 8-2 away to Barcelona in the first leg, which is absolutely horrendous. We drew the second leg 0-0, so yeah, we got beaten comfortably by Barcelona. So the Champions League, not very impressive this season, has to be said. We also lost the Super Cup final, unfortunately. The UEFA Super Cup final to Real Madrid, drawing 2-2 and losing on penalties, unfortunately. In the FA Cup, we got knocked out by fierce rivals Arsenal in a 4th round replay. And in the Carabao Cup, we got knocked out by Leeds in the quarter-final. So yeah, no great performances in the cup competitions this season. Quarter-final in the Carabao Cup, 4th round in the FA Cup, and the round of 16 in in the Champions League. Obviously, we've got to the UEFA Super Cup by winning the Europa League. We lost that final to Real Madrid, but can't really complain too much. Champions League, we lost out to Barcelona. FA Cup, we lost out to Arsenal. So, can't have too many complaints of these three. But the Carabao Cup, that's disappointing. To get Leeds in the quarter-final, we really expect them to get through them, to be honest, and maybe go on to win the competition. So that is disappointing. Also, the Premier League, we had a great title challenge on our hands this season with Man United and Man City. Came very close to winning the league title, but the next step is 2 points more and we'll win the league title. So hopefully starting from next season, we might win the league title. But unfortunately, Season 2 has ended trophyless. Well, in terms of the team again for this season, well, a lot more green ratings this season, which is nice to see. But again, the best player of the season in terms of the average rating was Destiny Adoggy. So I think it's safe to say the left-back position there is really nailed down from him. Also, Xhaka had a much better season this season. He got 28 goals this time round in 51 games and 4 assists. So much more improved from Xhaka there. Velasco and Pedro both have a good average rating. Florian Wirtz, Sarr and Basuma all average rating over 7 there, so they were good. In terms of the defence though, Pedro Porro, not a greatest average rating from him, 6.96 there. He did still get 7 goals and 11 assists, but seeing as he got so much goals and assists, it seems like he might be a weak point in terms of the squad defensively. He is playing on the inverted wing back on attack, but that could be a possible position to improve. We shall see. Romero not with the greatest average rating either, nowhere near close to being Mickey van der Ven's 7.2 on average rating there. But overall, looking at the team there, it's looking very good. But of course, to keep improving, we need to strengthen the team more, even more next season. So hopefully we do. Well, player of the season this time round, she went to Mickey van der Ven, which is nice to see. And young player of the season went to Destiny Adoggy. Signing of the season was Joao Pedro. Top goal scorer this time was Xhaka with 28 goals. That's 11 more goals than Son from last season, so that's a nice improvement. And Florian Wirtz, most assists with 15. That is 6 more than last season as well, so that is also very nice. Also, Xhaka has actually won the Premier League top goal scorer this season, even beating Haaland to win the Golden Boot. So Xhaka has had a very good season, but still, I need to sign another striker because Solanke clearly isn't good enough. Well, in terms of Season 3, some more exciting signings to talk of. Not quite as many departures and signings as last season, but still some big signings to talk of. In terms of players to lead the club, well, Bergval's gone on loan to Stoke again for a season. Also, Angel Correa went on loan to River Plate in January. Not really a great signing for me, Correa there, but only £6.5 million, so can't complain too much. Bentancur has gone to Man United for £49.5 million. I'm very happy with the sale of Bentancur. He's a good player, but to get basically £50 million from Man United for him, ecstatic with that. Also, Biragi, our backup left back, has joined Damak on a free transfer. Solanke has joined Al Tawoon for just £16 million. Not a lot of money for Solanke here, but I think he's underrated here in this FM, to be honest. He's not that bad in real life. He's actually a pretty good player, but yeah, he's not good enough here for me as a backup striker. Couldn't get decent money for him, but he has gone to Al Tawoon for £16 million. Porro has actually joined Barcelona for £63 million. I did say as a position that we might be able to strengthen, to be honest. He's very good going forward, Porro, but not great defensively. He's not bad defensively, but not great. I wanted a more complete right back, to be honest. And £63 million is a lot of money. Also, Dragoshin has gone to AC Milan for £19.5 million. Odobert, he's gone to Valencia for £21.5 million. Not really got a future in the club, to be honest. Potential isn't that high. And Solomon has joined Fiorentina for £13.5 million. And also sold some young players as well to raise some funds. Jamie Donnelly has gone to Coventry for £10 million. Lancashire has gone to Fiorentina for £16.5 million. And I've also sold King to Newcastle and Tyrese Hall to Chelsea as well. So these 4 players, they've all got decent potential, but not really good enough potential to be playing for us here at Tottenham as regular starters for the way we're rebuilding the club here. So a lot of players, £177 million there, but also we sold a player from here as well in Bentancur, of course. So over £225 million worth of player sales this season, so pretty happy with that. A lot of young players as well. So in terms of players to actually join the club, I've signed a new backup left back who is a lot better than Cristiano Biragi. I've actually signed Alvaro Fernandez from Benfica for £41 million. Formerly at Man United, of course, and the main reason why I signed Fernandez, why I was drawn towards Fernandez, was not only because he's a very good player, but also he is homegrown in England, so he adds to the homegrown quota, which is very nice. as a backup to a doggy, I'm very happy with the signing of Fernandes. 23 years of age, already got a cap for Spain as well. He's a 4-star player. He's not quite as good as a doggy, but he's not far off his standards. So a doggy needs to watch himself, but a doggy has been player of the season the last 2 seasons. So I'm sure he's got a left back position nailed down. It's just great to have another good left back at the club who's also homegrown in England. So Fernandes here is a very exciting signing for me. I've also signed a right back, of course, to replace Pedro Porro, and I've actually signed Michael Coyote from Fiorentina for £65 million. Very expensive, but he's also a very good right back. Only 22 years of age, 13 caps for Italy already as well, and he's a very, very complete right back. He's very good physically, very good physically. He's also very good mentally as well. He's also good technically. He's decent going forward. He's very good defensively, and he's also very good physically. So he's overall as a complete right back, for me, he's better than Pedro Porro, and also he can get slightly better as well. He actually started off at Brentford on loan at the start of this FootballManager here, as he does in real life. But for some reason or another, Brentford decided not to meet his optional future fee. He went back to Fiorentina for a season, and I snapped him up for £65 million. So sold Porro for £63 million, brought in Coyote for £2 million more. Very happy with that business, has to be said. I've also signed a new backup centre-back to replace Dragusin as well, and he's also a much better player, and that is Thomas Araujo from Benfica for £46 million. He is a very complete player, and to call a 4.5-star level centre-back a backup centre-back is a little bit crazy, to be honest, but Romero is still the number 1 right-sided centre-back, but now we've got another great right-sided centre-back in Thomas Araujo as well. He's, as I say, he's very complete centre-back, very good physically, a lot of 15s and a couple of 16s there as well. He's got great composure, he's good in the air as well. He's not an amazing centre-back, but he's a very good centre-back overall in every department, which is what I want to see. So 24 years of age as well, 17 caps for Portugal. Very happy with the signing of Araujo. And the next 2 signings, it gets even better, it has to be said. I signed a player from Real Madrid, and that is Federico Valverde for just £72 million. To be honest, I was looking for the ideal box-to-box midfielder to play, which I do play with in my tactic. And does anyone stick out more than Federico Valverde? Probably not. That is his best position, a box-to-box midfielder. He's amazing physically, it has to be said. Great stamina, great pace, great natural fitness as well. He's got high work rate and high teamwork as well. Very expensive, but £72 million is less than his market value in my opinion. And he was interested in joining us. So we've got midfield now of Valverde with Florian Wirtz, which is quite crazy to say. He's 27 years of age, so almost basically 28 in a couple of days, but he has got 17 natural fitness, so hopefully we've got him at his best for another 3 or 4 seasons. He's not the best technically or mentally, but he's got amazing work rate. He's also amazing physically as well, and also he's a standout box-to-box midfielder, which I wanted to sign. And last and certainly not least, I've signed Solanke's replacement as a new backup striker, but also he wanted to start himself as well. That is Evan Ferguson. I signed him from Brighton for £91 million. Very expensive, but also Ferguson, he is homegrown in England, of course, starting off his career at Brighton. So, yeah, very happy with the signing of Evan Ferguson. Of course, he's gone on loan to West Ham in real life, so he's not getting the game time at Brighton, but in his FootballManager especially, he's a very, very good player. Similar to Xhaka, though, his best role isn't an advanced forward, but he's more suited to an advanced forward than Xhaka is, and he's still young, only 21 years of age. 3-star player at the moment, but potentially 5 stars. So £91 million is expensive, but I'm signing for the future as well as for right now as well. So hopefully he'll be worth it in the end, and he's a massive upgrade on Solanke. So that is a nice signing in my opinion. So in terms of season 3, in terms of the team, I feel like it's been improved even more for this season, to be honest. Coyote is a new inverted wing-back on support. I've changed it from attack to support with Porro leaving the club. I've also changed Kulusevski from a winger support to winger attack. And on the other side, it's gone from a support to attack and attack to support as well to help balance out the team. So made a slight tweak to the tactic this season, only to the roles though, but nothing else. But Coyote is an inverted wing-back on support. Only a 3-star player, but I really do feel like he's a better overall centre-back, overall right-back, than Pedro Porro. So not much strengthening there in the right-back position going forward, but hopefully defensively it might make a difference. In terms of midfield as well, box-to-box midfielder Valverde, well, he's very suited to that role, it has to be said. So a massive upgrade in that position, to be honest. Saar, Valverde and Wirtz as our midfield 3 is outstanding. But also we've got Scalvini, Bissouma, Archie Gray, Bergvall all at the club as well. He can play midfield. So yeah, midfield is absolutely stacked at the moment. And Valverde is coming to effectively replace Bentancur, which is a massive upgrade. The front three hasn't really changed though. We've got Kulusevski, Joao Pedro and Gyökeres. We've also got Evan Ferguson at the club again as a backup striker. We've got Velasco still and Grealish as well. So last season we came very close to winning the league title, only 2 points behind Man United. The season before that, of course, we won the Europa League. Can we get back to winning ways? Can we get back to winning trophies? And can we win the Premier League in Season 3? Well, it has to be said that Season 3 has been very successful. We have won a trophy, but we will see in a minute what trophy we've actually won. In terms of the new arrivals, though, well, Valverde won the signing of the season. He played 53 games in total. We got 8 goals and 8 assists as a box midfielder. So he had a fantastic season. He definitely upgraded that position and that role in particular. Evan Ferguson as well only started 12 games in the season, but he featured in 45 in total. He got 20 goals though in just 12 starts this season, so he should have started more games. As I said though, the assistant does pick the team. I select the tactics, he picks the team selection, and Gyökeres actually got less goals than Ferguson this season, even though Ferguson started 12 games. So it's safe to say that Gyökeres might be in his final season at the club. Also, Fernandes only started 14 games, but featured 43 times in total. He got a 7.05 average rating, so he had a very good season as a backup left back to a doggy. Coyote, not amazing, but also solid. 57 games played, 6.98 average rating, and Araujo got a 6.88 average rating. In terms of the league though, thankfully we managed to win the league title in Season 3. We finished top of the league with 85 points, 6 points clear of Arsenal, and get this, we actually only conceded 18 goals in the season. 18 goals in 38 games, so Coyote signing as a new right back, did that help with the defensive situation? Probably. We also got Costa in goal these days, of course, and Araujo as a new backup right-handed centre-back. So the defence was outstanding this season and led us to the league title. 6 points clear of fierce rivals Arsenal in second place there. In the Champions League, that was also very, very successful. We got all the way to the final in the third season, but unfortunately, we lost to Real Madrid in the final. The second final that beat us in now. They beat us in the Super Cup final, now the Champions League final. And what a run we had though. We actually beat Bayern Munich in the knockout playoff round. We then beat Barcelona in the in the round of 16, Man City in the quarter-final, Valencia in the semi-final, only to lose out to Real Madrid in the final. Valencia are much better in this FootballManager, by the way, than they are in real life, so they're another big team to beat. But Bayern Munich, Barcelona and Man City all fell to us and Valencia before we lost to Real Madrid in the final. So it was almost a great season in the Champions League, but unfortunately we lost the final. In the FA Cup, we knocked out to Arsenal again. Last season we got knocked out to Arsenal in the FA Cup as well. This time we lost 1-0 to them in the semi-final. At least we got to the semi-final this time, but not a good day for the fans, that one. And in the Carabao Cup, we got knocked down the third round this time. This time though by Man United away 1-0, so can't complain too much there. Unfortunately, we actually lost to Man United in the Community Shield final as well, so could have been a lot better. We actually got to 2 finals, the Champions League and the Community Shield. But of course, in the third season, we won our first Premier League title, so it has to be said I'm very impressed with that. We actually look here, moments to remember here. Biggest win was actually 5-0 over Bayern Munich this season, so what a win that was for us in the Champions League. Also, the great news is we actually improved our reputation this season. We actually ended last season with a 4-star reputation. Although it says 4.5 stars there, must have been updated afterwards. But now we have a 4.5 star worldwide reputation. So we're up half a star already in terms of reputation, and only half a star more to go. Hopefully we can get to 5 stars by the end of the rebuild here. In terms of the team itself, well, to be honest, the defence was absolutely outstanding this season. 18 goals conceded in 38 league games is crazy. Really, really good. I feel like we need to improve the forward options going into next season, to be honest. As I said, Gyökeres actually scored less goals than Ferguson this season, even though Ferguson started 12 games. So you can imagine how many starts Gyökeres did. I feel like he needs replacing, to be honest, at this point in his career. And in terms of the wingers, well, Grealish and Pedro were the best wingers of the season. Got Kulusevski still at the club as well, and Velasco, of course. But I feel like we could strengthen the winger position as well. So that is the priority going into Season 4. Can we strengthen the striker and the winger position? Look at that. Player of the season again went to Udogie for the 3rd season in a row. So he's having a great time here for us. He also won Young Player of the Season as well. Actually, no, sorry. Van der Ven won Player of the Season last season, but I think he won 2 out of 3 now, sorry. But Young Player of the Season again for Udogie. Signing of the season went to Valverde. What a signing he's been for the club. And also Evan Ferguson, new signing. Despite only started 12 games in the season, he was top goal scorer with 20 goals. So yeah, I think it's safe to say that we need a new striker. We need a new forward option at least, because 20 goals, our top goal scorer for a backup striker, it's not good enough for the club. But I say that, we did win the league title, of course, so that was a great season. Got to the Champions League final as well, but we want to be even better. Most assists also went to Florian Wirtz again, this time only 12 assists though. But most clean sheets by our player in the season, Diogo Costa got 27 clean sheets this season, which is absolutely ridiculous. Well, hopefully next season the defence can be just as good. Can we improve the attack though and go one step further and win the Champions League in Season 4? Before we go any further with this video though, guys, please remember that if you do like the video, hit that like button for me. It's very important for the video's success. And also, if you're new around here, you want to see more rebuild videos, do hit that subscribe button as well. And also, let me know down in the comment section below which team you think I should rebuild next, either from the Premier League or from any foreign country or from any English lower league as well. I'm interested in any rebuild, to be honest, so I'll see what recommendations you can make me. At the start of Season 4 here, not as many transfers as the previous seasons, but some big players have joined the club again, and a massive worldwide name has joined the club against the odds, which is nice to see. First player to leave us though is actually Yves Bissouma, who joined Chelsea for £38 million. A good player, but in his 30s now, and also coming towards the end of his contract, so decided to sell him for £38 million, albeit to a league rival. In terms of the biggest sale of the window, it actually went to João Pedro. He has gone to Liverpool for £66 million. So I sold him for £24 million less than I signed him for, but he wasn't amazing for us in his first 2 seasons, João Pedro. And I've also signed a player, another Brazilian left winger, who is a bit better than João Pedro, so he has left the club. Jacques has also joined Real Madrid for £55 million. He was a good player for us in the he's a good player for us in one of the seasons. The other 2 not quite up to par, and we also only signed him for £40 million. So £15 million on Jacques, which is nice. Also made big profit on William Pacho. He has joined Real Madrid as well for £64 million in total after fees. And we actually only signed him for £21 million as a backup left-sided centre back to Van der Ven. So we tripled our money on Pacho basically, which is very nice. Alfie Dorrington, who's a young centre back here. He's a Tottenham homegrown lad. I did think about keeping him in the team for this season, but I needed to raise some more funds. So I sold him to Juventus for £19.5 million. Has decent potential, but he's not going to get much better from this point onwards, and not really good enough at the moment, to be honest. Also sold a couple more young players. Yang Min-hyuk has joined Freiburg for £8 million. Kinski as well has joined Sevilla for £8 million. And I've also sold Phillips, Brandon Austin and Leon Murtai as well. So in terms of players that join us, I've signed a new backup goalkeeper. That was a problem for us last season, because actually going into the end of the season, Diogo Costa picked up a serious injury, and we actually missed him for the Champions League final. And Kinski wasn't even good enough to be our number 2. Our number 2 goalkeeper, who actually started most of the games with the assistant, was a 17-year-old called Russell Underwood, who's a regen player. He's got out, he's in the under 21s now, but yeah, it was a problem for us. If Costa gets an injury, Kinski isn't good enough, and we can't be playing a 17-year-old in goal for the Champions League finals. So Atabulu has joined us from Freiburg for £17.5 million only. He's a very good goalkeeper and a very good number 2. One of the best number 2s in the Premier League, I'd say now. He's got great one-on-ones, great free flexes as well. He's very suited to the sweeper keeper support role, which I play with. So yeah, very happy with the signing of him. And if someone does have him Costa, at least we know we've got a good goalkeeper to come in as our number 2, which is Atabulu. So happy with the signing of him. I've also signed Adrien Rabiot from Real Madrid for £26 million. I actually wanted to sign him on a free transfer, but he chose to join Real Madrid. But I signed him a year later. He is 32 years of age, but similar to Valverde he's a natural box-to-box midfielder. He's very suited to that role. And also, being 32, he's still got 18 natural fitness, 18 stamina, and 18 strength still as well. So for a season or 2, he will definitely do a good job for us as a backup box-to-box midfielder. I've also signed another player from Real Madrid, another very exciting player from Real Madrid, and that is Vinicius Jr. Vinicius Jr. has joined me here for Tottenham for £96 million. A little bit unrealistic, I will admit, but who knows what will happen in 3 or 4 years' time in real life. You never know what could happen. And for some reason or another, he's available to sign from Real Madrid for £96 million. Of course, he should cost a lot more than that, but for some reason or another, Real Madrid didn't want him. Of course, they have got Mbappe at the club, but Vinicius and Mbappe are 2 amazing players. He is a great player to sign. I actually didn't think I'd be able to afford his wages, because he wanted too much wages. But to be honest, the wage budget is looking quite healthy. We're only at 6th or 7th in the league, so I felt like it was time to pay someone who had a little bit more ridiculous wages, and that is Vinicius Jr. He wanted 650k a week. Couldn't afford that. The maximum we could afford is 500k a week. I managed to convince him, though, with some more impressive bonuses, and he is here at the club. A great player, especially physically. 19 acceleration, great agility and balance, great pace as well, 20 determination, 19 dribbling. He's a world-class player, and he's now here playing for us on the left-hand side. I've also signed another striker, though, to replace Xhaka, another very exciting striker, and that is Benjamin Sesko. He has joined us from RB Leipzig for £86 million. Very expensive. He's not amazing, but he is very good overall, which I like. He's great. He's great physically. He's got great pace. He's 6'4", great in the air, great strength as well. He's good finishing as well. He's not the best technically or best composure as well, but similar to Evan Ferguson they're both very, very good overall strikers. They're great in the air. They've also got great pace as well. So hopefully Sesko and Ferguson can bang the goals in for us this season. Something we were lacking in last season, although the defence was incredible and led us to the league title. Well, look at the team for this coming season, Season 4. One thing I definitely like, which is standing out to me, is all these green partnerships here. The team is playing very, very well together in every aspect of the pitch. And in terms of strengthening the team, well, Scalvini is a new #1 DM apparently. He's our best DM at the club. We've also got Wirtz and Valverde there in midfield as well. We've also got Sarr on the bench, which is ridiculous because he's outstanding as well. And Rabiot as well. So the midfield is looking absolutely stacked now. To be honest, this is the assistant's opinion of the best 11, as I keep saying. So Vinicius Jr. would not be starting up front for me. He'll be starting on the left-hand side, and Sesko or Ferguson will be starting up front. That's obviously the better option to go with. I really hope he doesn't start Vinicius as our #1 striker, because that is not why I signed him. So yeah, hopefully that does happen. We shall see what will happen though. And yeah, the team has definitely been strengthened, especially in the forward options. Joao Pedro was a good player, but Vinicius Jr. is a world-class player. And of course, Xhaka was a good player as well, but Sesko is a bit better overall in my opinion. So defensively, we were outstanding last season. Going forward, we were lacking a little bit, but I feel like we've addressed those issues this season. Hopefully, we can defend the league title and maybe go one step further and lift the Champions League this season. Well, it has to be said, Season 4 was another very successful season in terms of the new arrivals. Well, signing of the season has to go to Benjamin Sesko. He played in 50 games in total this season, but he got 35 goals and 3 assists. He also only started 30 games, so yeah, massive upgrade this season with Sesko going into the club. Last season, our top goal scorer was Evan Ferguson with 20 goals, while Sesko has got 15 more goals than Ferguson got last season, so fantastic signing, it has to be said. A 7.27 average rating as well. Also, Vinicius Jr. though, he got a 7.15 average rating, so not amazing, but still good. 14 goals and 10 assists for him in 45 games. Not going to lie, I expected a little bit better for Vinicius there, but he definitely did add to the squad. Also, Rabiot played in 50 games in total, and also signed a new wonder kid called Karofsky from Velez for £4.7 million. He featured on a couple of occasions. He only joined in January, and Atabulu as a new backup goalkeeper. Well, the good news is we defended our title from last season. We actually took it one step further as well. We got 94 points this season with a plus 67 goal difference. The defence was almost just as good, but the attack was much better this season with Sesko and Vinicius coming into the club. So the league was very, very successful this season. 7 points clear of Arsenal this time around, and back-to-back league titles for us. We also got to the Champions League final for the back-to-back seasons as well, but unfortunately, we have lost it again. We've again lost it to a Spanish team, this time though to Barcelona in the final. We actually drew 3-3 with Barcelona in the final, and we lost on penalties. And I think we were 3-2 up with a minute to go, and they scored an equaliser. So really devastating in the Champions League. We actually knocked out Lazio in the round of 16. And we also beat Real Madrid in the quarterfinal. Of course, we beat them in the quarterfinals, but when it comes to the final, when it really matters, we of course lose to them. We also beat Arsenal in the semi-final as well. After losing the first leg 4-1, we beat them 4-0 at home in the second leg. That was nice, but unfortunately, we lost to the final hurdle again. Back-to-back Champions League final defeats for us, but the good news is we have won back-to-back Premier League titles. The FA Cup again was disappointing, unfortunately. This time knocked down the quarterfinal where Leicester lost away to Leicester 2-1, so again, very underwhelming. As a team we were expected to beat, and to be honest, getting to the semi-final, we could go all the way and win the competition, so disappointing in the Cup again. And in the Carabao Cup, knocked out to Arsenal in the 4th round, 2-1 away, so can't be too harsh with the team there, but not doing too well in the domestic cup competitions, it has to be said. We're doing very well in Europe, won the Europa League, and we've reached 2 Champions League finals in 4 seasons. So 3 out of 4 seasons been a European final. We've also won 2 league titles in a row as well, but domestically in the cups, not going too well. We also lost the Community Shield final to Arsenal as well, 2-1, so another loss there, which is not nice to see. In terms of the players this season though, as you can see, a massive upgrade in the striker position. Sesko, a 7.27 average rating. He had the highest average rating of any player this season, which is nice. Florian Wirtz had a good season again, 26 assists for Wirtz and 17 goals, so very, very impressive. Coyote, not really doing too well as our new right back above Porro, but in saying that, I feel like the system is working better because last season defensively we were outstanding. This season we're defensively very good as well. Changing it from attack to support, which suits Coyote more than Porro. Even though he's not doing very well individually, I feel like it's definitely benefited the team in the long run, so I guess I shouldn't complain too much. In terms of player of the season, this time goes to Florian Wirtz, who got an average rating of 7.2. Young player of the season went to Evan Ferguson, and signing of the season went to Benjamin Sesko. But I feel like Sesko should have got player of the season as well, to be honest. But anyway, he got signing of the season. Top goal scorers went to Sesko with 35 goals, and most assists went to Florian Wirtz with 26 assists. And he also broke the record most assists in the season with 26 assists as well. In terms of competition awards, well, Florian Wirtz won German Footballer of the Year, and Diogo Costa won the Premier Division or Premier League Golden Gloves. So season 4 was another very successful one. Won the league title again, back-to-back league titles for us. But also, we've only won 3 trophies in 4 seasons. We won the Europa League, of course, and 2 Premier League titles. Going into season 5, can we win more than 1 trophy in 1 season? Well, at the start of season 5 here, not too many signings to talk of. I've made 1 massive signing, but other than that, it's only young players who joined the club. As you can see for yourself, the team is looking very complete these days with some ridiculous players like Florian Wirtz and Vinicius Jr. at the club these days. But I have sold a couple of players. First one to leave us was Lucas Bergvall. He has joined Al Khalij for £21 million. Obviously a very highly rated youngster in real life, but in his primary position, which is Mazzala on attack for the tactic I'm playing, he's not getting ahead of Florian Wirtz. And also I've got a couple more better youngsters than him now as well. So I gave him a chance, a few loans out, but unfortunately he didn't quite develop to be the player he's meant to be, and he has gone to Saudi Arabia for £21 million. I've also sold Velasco to Barcelona for £46 million. Good player Velasco, but he thinks he's better than what he is. He wants to be an important player, even a star player here at the club. He is not going to be a star player over Vinicius Jr., so Velasco had to leave the club. He has gone to Barcelona for £46 million. Also, Rabiot he's gone to Al Ali for £20 million, but he is 33 years of age now. He was very good for a season, but he has left the club. And also I sold a youngster, Daniel Taylor, to Brighton for £8 million as well. So in terms of players actually join us, well, I actually signed a couple of youngsters in January. David Karofsky has joined us from Vélez for £4.7 million. Only 18 years of age, already got 4 caps for Argentina. He's a brilliant Mazzala player. Back up to Florian Wirtz, but he could be the new Florian Wirtz in a few years' time. Hopefully, the rebuild will be done by then, but Karofsky is already a very good player as a backup centre midfielder. For the future, he's extremely exciting. Could be he could be the best midfielder in the game in the future, to be honest. But as a backup midfielder to Florian Wirtz, who's just going to keep getting better as long as the rebuild goes on. Yeah, very happy with Karofsky, it has to be said. Also signed Yves Kanda from Genk for £2.5 million only. A bit lower potential than Karofsky, but he's only 18 years of age and only £2.5 million. The ceiling is also very high for him. He's also a very good player as well. He's on loan to Monaco for the season, but for next season, if we're still here, he could be a valuable option to have. And also signed Ramazan van der Waal, also from Genk for £23 million. He's on loan at Genk for the season as well. And he's also a very highly rated right back / DM player. Not quite as good centre back, I'd say, even though it's his favoured role, because he's not very good in the air. But for the future, he's great. And for right now, as a backup player who's going to keep improving, a very good signing as well. But really, there's only really 1 signing to talk of that has improved the team. And boy, has he improved the team. What a signing. What a player in this FM. Elias Ben Seguir has joined us from Monaco for, a whopping £149 million. Very, very expensive, but I've been wanting a new right winger for a long time now, and might be a little bit confusing to say that since he's a natural attacking midfielder there. But he can play on the right wing and the left wing as well. Obviously, don't play with number 10. We also play midfield as well, but Florian Wirtz has got that position locked down. But on the right wing, we've got Dejan Kulusevski, So he's a very good player, but he needs some competition there, and also could do with an upgrade. And vinijr is that player, in my opinion. I'm going to be playing as a winger on attack, so it's not his favoured role, but he's a very good player there. Unbelievable. 23 years of age, 10 caps for France, 19 dribbling, 18 agility as well, 18 off the ball. Outstanding player. Very, very expensive, but only spent that much money really on one player. So what's the difference between £150 million on one player or £50 million on 3 players? So £150 million in total. So I feel like he's going to make a big improvement to the team. Hopefully it does. And vinijr on one wing and Vinicius Jr. on the other wing. Suddenly the wingers are looking ridiculous at the club. So if we actually look at the starting 11 for the season, it hasn't changed from last season actually, but the only change that would be made would be obviously vinijr coming in on the right wing for Kulusevski. The reason why the assistant's not putting him there, because officially he can't play there, similar to Scalvini was back in the day. But he is being trained as a right winger, and it should only take a couple of weeks for him to be a accomplished right winger at least, and he should get plenty of game time. So yeah, the team is looking slightly improved in my opinion. Obviously Kulusevski being replaced by vinijr, so hopefully could this do it for us? Could we go one step further and lift the Champions League this season? If we do win the Premier League and the Champions League this season, then that would be certainly the end of the rebuild, and I can safely say that the rebuild has been completed. But to lose 2 Champions League finals in a row, I really want that Champions League title before the rebuild ends. Can we do that in Season 5? Well, let's find out. Well, Season 5 was probably our best season to date, to be honest, because we actually won more than one trophy in a season. We've won 2 trophies this season, but did we win the elusive Champions League? Well, the new arrivals, not too many to talk of. Obviously, vinijr and Van der Waal. vinijr was signing the season, no surprise there. He played 51 games in total. He got 17 goals and 10 assists. So 27 goal involvements for vinijr this season. Pretty happy with that. Not outstanding, but very good, I'd say. So yeah, definitely made a difference to us on the right hand side there. He's primarily been playing. Also Van der Waal though, our youngster, he played in 27 games this season. I actually called him back on loan from in January, so he featured a long time for us. A lot of times for us in the second half of the season, and yeah, definitely a decent squad option to have. But vinijr, the outstanding signing of the season. Well, the good news is we made it 3 Premier League titles in a row, which is very nice. You're under pressure this season though. Man City only finished 3 points behind us, but in the end we got over the lines. 9 points clear of Arsenal in 3rd place as well. So 3 league titles in a row is very nice. I think it's safe to say that we've been rebuilt in the Premier League, but the Champions League, how do I say this? We've reached the final again for the 3rd season in a row. We've reached the final again for the 3rd season in a row. But for the 3rd season in a row, we have lost the Champions League final. And get this, to a Spanish club again. The 3rd season in a row, we've got to the Champions League final. And for 3 years in a row, we've lost to a Spanish club. This time it was Real Madrid again. Real Madrid twice now, Barcelona once. We lost 2-0 in the Champions League final to Real Madrid. It's just mind-boggling. 3 Champions League finals in a row. To lose all 3 of them is just absolutely disgusting. Also, we beat Bayern Munich in the round of 16. We beat Arsenal in the quarter-final. And we beat PSG in the semi-final. So again, we beat some big teams to get to the final. But unfortunately, again, for the 3rd year in a row, we lost at the final hurdle. In the FA Cup, we got to the semi-final this time round, so a little bit more improved in the FA Cup, but still yet to reach a final of the FA Cup. Knocked out to Chelsea this time on penalties, unfortunately. The good news is, though, we won a domestic cup for the first time in the rebuild. We won the Carabao Cup, which is nice to see. We didn't really have too much competition, though. We beat Stockport, then Bournemouth, then Burnley, Ipswich in the semi-final, and then Crystal Palace in the final. So can't say it's that impressive. We won all the games we were meant to win quite comfortably. So yeah, not amazing, but at the end of the day, you can only beat what's in front of you. And we won a double for the first time in the rebuild, the league title and the Carabao Cup. The Community Shield seems like it'd be a bogey competition for us, because we've lost the final 3 years in a row now to Man United, 2 years in a row as well. So we can't win the Community Shield to save our lives, it seems. So that's not very impressive. Well, moments to remember this season. One thing that should probably stand out is a Premier League win over Arsenal, where we won 7-0, which is a very nice win, it has to be said. Vinicius got 2 goals in this game. Florian Wirtz got 2 goals as well. So yeah, what a win that was for the fans. 7-0 over Arsenal there. We also beat Man City 4-0 in the league as well. So yeah, we're very strong in the league, it has to be said. Only 3 points clear of Man City though, so without that 4-0 win could be a whole lot different. But in the end, we won the league title 3 seasons in a row, which of course is very, very nice. Well, in terms of the team, what can I say? The front three were very good this season. Sesko got 35 goals again, the same as last season. Also, Vinicius Jr. got 19 goals and 16 assists, so 35 goal involvements for him. Seen him do better, but overall that's very good, has to be said. 17 goals and 10 assists for Benzeguir, 12 goals and 24 assists for Florian Wirtz as well. And also, Valverde got 26 goal involvements, and Doggy got 15 assists, as well. So yeah, looking at a team, there's not really much we can improve from past this point, to be honest. The right back again, not doing amazing things, but again, to the system, he's working perfectly. Doggy gets the headlines and left back position, and Coyote just goes about his business under the radar and does a solid job for us. So yeah, all in all, the team is looking very good. But you know what I'm going to say? I cannot end the rebuild with 3 Champions League finals lost in a row. We either have to lose at an earlier stage in the Champions League, which is not nice to say, or we have to win the Champions League. So I'm going for one more season. Can we lift the Champions League in the 6th season? Well, at the start of season 6 here, as you can imagine, not too many signings and sales to talk of. The team is looking rather complete, it has to be said. We're just missing one thing, and that is, of course, the Champions League. So hopefully, fingers crossed, this will be the final season of the rebuild. Well, Jack Grealish actually left the club in January of last season to Chelsea for £15.5 million. He was a good servant, though, for a couple of seasons at the club, 3 seasons, I believe. So, yeah, not nice to see him leave, but ultimately I wanted to sell Jack Grealish to give more game time for Mikey Moore, our youngster, who's now in the first team, but didn't really happen that way, unfortunately. Also, Vuskovic, who was a 4th choice centre-back last season, a backup right to the centre-back. He has gone to Liverpool with £31.5 million. Didn't start a single game last season. The assistant doesn't take to him, and we're kind of lacking in that department, really. Also, the biggest sale of the season was a player I didn't want to see leave because he was great for the system. That is Valverde. He has gone to Al Hilal for £79 million. But you know how it is. If a player is over 30 years of age, you can't offer him more than a 1 or 2 year contract at all these clubs now. And as soon as the Saudi clubs come sniffing, 99% of the time they want to leave the club. So that is the scenario that was in there. Valverde couldn't sign a new contract, didn't want to sign a new one either because he got the Saudi clubs after him, and ultimately we were forced to sell Valverde. So that is unfortunate. He's on Al Hilal for £79 million. The good news is, though, we've got Papi Sarr at the club, who's one of the best midfielders on the game now. Not quite his best role, box-to-box midfielder, but he's certainly a decent replacement for Valverde, it has to be said. So not as bad as it seems. Also, Christian Romero, been a great servant for the club. He has gone to Al Ittihad for £49 million. Similar to Valverde, in the final year of his contract. Doesn't want to sign a new one, and nothing we can do at this point. Other than that, though, only young players have left the club. As you can see there, raised a few funds from young regen players who are not going to be good enough to play for the club. Also, Mikey Moore has gone on loan to Valencia again for the season. In case we lose in the Champions League final for the 4th season in a row, Mikey Moore could be a good player to have for a 7th season. But in terms of players that join us, well, Matheus, he joined us from Palmeiras for £12.5 million in January. Just a young player, as I said. Probably won't get used in the video here, but in case it does continue, he's a very high potential striker option to have at the club. Also, we signed a new backup right-sided centre-back to replace Romero and Vuskovic effectively. Araujo will be our new starting centre-back on the right side there. He's a very, very good player and almost a world-class centre-back in his own right. So, not really much of a downgrade from Romero. Couldn't really sign a centre-back to directly replace Romero, but we've actually strengthened the defence without strengthening Romero, if it makes sense. Because Zabani comes in for £43.5 million. A very, very good centre-back. Not amazing with his passing ability, but definitely good enough. 17 composure as well is very nice. Physically, he's very good as well. So, yeah, not quite a complete amazing centre-back, but he's a very, very good old school style centre-back, and he's also fairly good at the other aspects of the game. 17 composure, though, definitely does stand out. So, as a backup to Araujo, very happy with the signing of Zabani. He's definitely an upgrade on Vuskovic, so hopefully that can help with squad rotation through the season. I've also signed a left-sided centre-back as well, which we've been lacking with since Pacho left the club, since he went to Real Madrid. So I signed Lukeba from RB Leipzig for £81 million. An outstanding centre-back in his own right. Brilliant overall. 18 composure is outstanding. 17 positioning as well. But he is a backup to Mickey van der Ven. Who's still an amazing centre-back at the club. One of the best centre-backs in the game now, Van der Ven. But Lukeba definitely puts pressure on him. And he's a great rotation option to have at the club. So Zabani and Lukeba to come in to replace Vuskovic and Romero. Very, very happy with that. I've also signed Arda Güler from Real Madrid for £70 million, another Real Madrid player. He's a very amazing technically player, has to be said. 18 passing, 18 technique and 19 vision. Not quite going to play him in his favoured role, has to be said. He's mainly going to be here as a right winger to battle out vinijr. We've also got Kulusevski in the club still as well. So yeah, not his greatest role, has to be said, but he was probably the best player I could get for the money I had. So ideally I wanted a winger attack style player that is his best role on the right wing. Very hard to find these players in FM, it seems. So Arda Güler has joined the club, but still, what he lacks for being his best role, he makes up for his crazy attributes, has to be said. Technically, he's outstanding. Physically, he's not amazing, but he's still decent physically. So hopefully, he'll be a great squad player for us this season, Güler. And the last player I signed is actually a new youngster. That is Pablo Pozo. He joined us from Velez for £12 million. Only a young centre back, but he's already a very good player. And if needed, he can be recalled from Mainz if some sort of serious injury does happen. So that is the signings I made for the start of Season 6. And in terms of the actual starting 11, obviously Romero has left the club, but Araujo is still a 4-star centre-back. Not got the greatest partnership with Van der Ven, but hopefully throughout the season they might get a better partnership, hopefully. Scalvini, Sarr and Wirtz midfield. Sarr's effectively replacing Valverde as a box-to-box midfielder, but as you can see, Sarr is an outstanding complete midfielder in the game. His best role is not a box-to-box midfielder, but as you can see from the attributes here, he definitely can do a good job there to replace Valverde. So didn't feel the need to directly replace Valverde, seeing as Sarr's here at the club. We've still got Scalvini, Wirtz as well, and also among that we've got Karofsky, who's an amazing wonder-kid player at the club, Archie Gray as well. And also got other great wonder kids in Kanda and Van der Waal as well, who are all very young players, but all very good, and also got an amazing potential. And in the forward options, we've got vinijr, Vinicius Jr. still, of course. And we've got Evan Ferguson and Sesko as our two strikers. So we've lost 3 Champions League finals in a row, which is absolutely disgusting. We've won 3 Premier League titles in a row, though. In Season 6, can we finally do it? Can we finally get to the Champions League final and lift the Champions League trophy? Well, Season 6 was another very successful season. We've won 2 trophies again. And in terms of the new arrivals, we weren't too many, to be honest. Only 3 to talk of. None of them got over a 7 rating, but 2 of them were centre-backs. Lukaba's not really happy with his game time, but that's understandable. Only started 12 games for the season, but he is behind Van der Ven. And also Zabani, he got more game time than Lukaba. They both had decent seasons and definitely strengthened the centre-back department. Seeing as Vuskovic was not getting used by the assistant enough at all, and led to more players playing more games and getting tired. So to have 4 good centre-backs in the club, or 4 amazing centre-backs in the club, is definitely a benefit again. Arda Güler was signing of the season. He got 2 goals and 11 assists. We only started 17 games, not amazing, but 11 assists is quite nice. It'd be nice to see him score more goals though. Well, the great news is we are firmly the best club in England. That is, without a shadow of a doubt, we have won the league title for the 4th season in a row. And also, what's even more great about this one is it's a league title we shouldn't have won, because Arsenal were 11 points clear of us at one point with like 10 games to go, but they had a terrible run of form, and we ended up picking them off the post by the end of the season. 3 points clear of Arsenal in the end. Luckily, we were 3 points clear because they had a better goal difference as well. But in the end, the cream rises to the top, and we won the league title for the 4th season in a row. And also, we got to the Champions League final for the 4th season in a row. Before the actual Champions League final happened, I couldn't take it. I was so nervous. I was like, really? We have to win it this time, for goodness sake. And the good news is, we did win it. We won the Champions League final. Finally, we won the Champions League final. Interesting enough as well, it's the 4th Spanish opposition again. So, for anything, the FootballManager gave me a chance to get revenge against these Spanish clubs, and Real Madrid in particular, and we beat them in the final 2-1. Also, the Champions League campaign this season was ridiculous. We went unbeaten throughout the entirety of the campaign. We also beat Maccabi Tel Aviv 10-0 away in the Champions League league phase. We also beat Puskás Academia 7-0 in the group phase as well. Beat Nice in the quarter-final, beat the round of 16, beat Valencia 10-1 on aggregate, who are a very good team these days, in the quarter-final. And we also beat Man City in the semi-final and Real Madrid in the final. So the Champions League was very impressive this season. Our 4th Champions League final in a row. And our 5th European final in 6 seasons, which is ridiculous. But finally have won the Champions League to go along with that Europa League win. So finally, I can call an end to the rebuild. I'm very happy with how it's gone. We could have ended it earlier if we won the Champions League title, but yeah. 4th Champions League final in a row, 4th time lucky, shall we say, but we have won the Champions League to go along with 4 Premier League titles, 1 in a row. Unfortunately, we could never win the FA Cup in the rebuild though. That was very disappointing. The furthest we got was the semi-final last season. This time round, we lost to Luton away 4-2 in the FA Cup 3rd round, which was very strange, to be honest. Yeah, we just didn't take to the FA Cup at all in the rebuild, which is a bit bizarre, but it is what it is. The Carabao Cup, not too much better, but we did win the Carabao Cup last season, of course, so that is nice. But this time round, we got knocked down in the quarter-final by Liverpool 3-0 away. And the Community Shield was a bogey competition for us, because 4 finals in the Community Shield, we lost all 4. 2 to United, I think, 1 to Man City and 1 to Arsenal, I believe. But we lost all 4 Community Shields, and to be honest, I don't even know we could score a goal in the Community Shield finals. We've always seemed to score no goals in the Community Shield finals, so not impressive in that regard. But this season, the final season, we won the Champions League and we won the league title. Those are the 2 main ones, and that is exactly what we did. Also, the good news is, ending the rebuild, we end the rebuild as a 5-star worldwide team as well. We start off as a 4-star continental team, so improved the reputation by a whole 1 star in 6 seasons, which is nice. And also in this final season here, the fans' player of the season was Sesko. Young player of the season went to Karofsky, who's unbelievable, by the way. I could continue the rebuild just to see how good Karofsky will become, because he's absolutely outstanding. The new Florian Wirtz, well, the new Florian Wirtz 2.0, which is ridiculous to say. Signing of the season went to Arda Güler, but not really too many signings to talk of. Top goal scorer is Evan Ferguson with 31 this season, so him and Sesko as our 2 strikers, doing very, very well. And most assists was Florian Wirtz with 17 assists again. And in the Champions League, well, the Champions League player of the season was actually Florian Wirtz, and the Champions League Golden Boot went to Evan Ferguson. So 6 seasons played here with Tottenham. I think it's safe to say they've been rebuilt very, very nicely. A lot of big signings to talk of, such as Florian Wirtz, Vinicius Jr., Federico Valverde, Ben Seguir, and the list goes on. Well, the most impressive thing of the rebuild has to be the 4 league titles, 1 in a row. That was very, very nice. We also won the Europa League as well. We won 1 Champions League, and we also won 1 Carabao Cup. So 7 trophies in 6 seasons. Doesn't sound as amazing as what it was, to be honest. We got to 4 Champions League finals. We got to 5 European finals in 6 seasons. We also lost the Community Shield 4 times. But we also won the league title 4 times as well. Would have been nice to be a little bit better in domestic cups, but wasn't meant to be. Obviously, only 1 Carabao Cup in 6 seasons, a little bit poor. But the most important thing is we won 4 league titles in a row. We won the Champions League and we won the Europa League as well. So that is the end of this video, guys. Please let me know down in the comment section below which team you want me to rebuild next. Obviously, if there's a good recommendation, I'll be looking to doing that for my next video. And also, please remember to hit that like button for me. And also, if you're new around here, do hit that subscribe button as well. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you for the next one.